Welcome back in to Attacking Third. We are talking USL Super League, and this is a look at the logos of these teams along with their names. Brooklyn FC, Carolina Ascent, Dallas Trinity, Fort Lauderdale United, Lexington SC, and Spokane Zephyr. Tampa Bay Sun and Washington, D.C. has not made their logo yet, but what are we thinking about these logos? Darian, okay, I like them. I like the color schemes.
You know what? I gotta give a shout out to Lexington SC. I really like theirs. Carolina, Tampa. I'm liking the colors. I think these are good. Lexington's number one for me.
Because you love
Also,
green.
shout out Brooklyn because I live there.
Oh, I like that. I kind of like Dallas Trinity. I like the way that they did this. They're talking about representing the past, the present, the future of the communities, and bringing women's football to Dallas and more in Texas. I really enjoy that. I'm a little confused about the Fort Lauderdale United FC. It's just like a lot of names.
There's like a lot of letters. There's a lot of letters, large and small, going on.
Okay, hold on.
What do you like, Jenny?
I like Spokane Zephyr, but I don't know what it means, and I know Lisa looked it up earlier. What does this mean?
It means like a light wind, according to Google.
A light wind.
But it's also, there's a Greek goddess, Zephyrus.
Ooh.
Perhaps that's what they're going on.
I like that.
I think that's
a
probably
westward wind, a light westward breeze.
You know
I
what?
don't know.
You know what? Sandra Herrera is here to give us insight on all things USL Super League, because clearly I don't even know what a Zephyr is, and I got to look it up, and Sandra knows everything. So, Sandra, talk about this Super League and how it's going to change the women's professional soccer landscape here, right? We have NWSL already, and this new edition is coming into play. What is it doing? What do you think about the progress? Is it a good thing?
I love it, Jenny. I love we're talking about the Zephyr. We're talking about the goddess angle, and then you're like, we got to bring in Sandra. I appreciate you so much. Look, progress. We love to see it. It's what we always love to see in the women's game. So I think the other side of this compliment is that we're noticing and taking note of this progress in Women's Super League, because it feels like it's coming out all at once here, especially with roughly 3 months or so where they want to kick off in August and be that, kind of late summer, kind of fall type of league. And I think there's a lot of excitement with it. And I think that there's a lot of cautious optimism as well. So I think noting the timeline to their kickoff and kind of taking note when they announced really their initial markets, which was exactly 1 year ago today. They put out a release saying, here are our initial markets. We want to kick off our inaugural 2024 season with 10 to 12 teams. So they're falling a little bit short of that in the 8 clubs that we're referencing already. But I think there's been a lot of buzz that's been generating around this league. I think rightfully so. And in this time, as we're starting to see a lot of different bits of news come in and out of some of these different clubs so far.
Sandra, we've been waiting for signings and player announcement and crest announcement, color announcement, jersey announcements, anything from these clubs. And finally, we got a plethora of them. Carolina, Fort Lauderdale, and Spokane all announcing their first player signings ever in club history. And now that we've had a chance to look at the entire list of USL Super League signings, which ones are you excited to make the biggest impact in the league?
Yeah, I think we got to give a special shout out to Tampa Bay Sun. I sort of feel like they've been kind of the team that have been taking the leadership role here. They're in the driver's seat, kind of showing the rest of the league how it's done. I think they had a great trio of players to announce, and Erica Timrak, Jordan Listro, and Dummy Richardson. And so they've since added Riley Mattingly-Parker and Vivian Bissett. But I think I also want to shout out Carolina Ascent, because they're chasing them as well, kind of making a lot of their player announcements. I got to give the shout out to Jill Aguilera, who had spent a significant amount of time out here in Chicago with the Red Stars. So I like that they're looking for players that have had some of this NWSL experience and wanting to bring them on board to their teams as well. So I think these are the 2 teams that have kind of been leading the race and showing how it's done to get player signings.
I wonder if Tampa's pregame cheer is gonna be like, yeah, son.
I hope so.
I would do N. It's S-U-N.
Yeah, but I know it's S-U-N.
That was great.
Of course I know it's S-U-N, but I'd be like, yeah, let's play on it.
I love
Anyways,
it.
Sandra, what players would you want to see in the USL that are maybe kind of on the bubble of NWSL or retired or recently retired that you would want to see maybe make a splash in this new league?
Ooh, recently retired former players. Darian, I want to see you at Brooklyn FC. What are you talking about?
I still got some boots.
we're waiting to get that player announcement any day now from Brooklyn FC. I think we're actually waiting for a lot of things from Brooklyn FC still, really. But I think player signings is one of them. But yeah, of course, I'm going to shout you out for sure. But I think that's a great question in a number of ways, because I think it also kind of bleeds a little bit into witnessing a little bit of what USL's Super League's purpose kind of is. We want to see them work that. You know, they want to have this fully professionalized league in the United States, as that it's another option, you know, as well for former pros or current pros or players who are looking to take that next step in their career. You know, I think maybe I'll also shout another signing in this one, in that Leveni Vaca recently got signed to Fort Lauderdale. And this is a player that folks might remember for a memorable moment during the NWSL draft night, where she was a much later pick, a 4th round late draft pick, but had all of her family there. It was very emotional to get selected by Bay FC. It is not an easy thing to get drafted in NWSL, and it's even harder to crack a fully pro NWSL roster, as we've seen. So she obviously was not able to make that roster with Bay FC, but here she is with an opportunity to help build something in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay, take out your magic
8-ball
circle.
Okay.
Your magic circle, Sandra. You're a goddess and you're also a magician. I don't know.
Up lots.
Will there ever be promotion relegation between NWSL and USL Super League? I know not right now, and they're just in the beginning stages, but can we look for a future where this exists?
Gosh, I'm always someone who says never say never, right? But I think when it comes to this league right now, I think there's a bit of similar energy to when NWSL first launched, right? I think there's optimism, but I think there's a heavy dose of cautious optimism. I think folks are still kind of waiting to see, and not just waiting to see, but make sure that this league is going to deliver on what it said it's going to do, and make sure that they're upholding the utmost of minimum standards, but also kind of making sure that they're abiding by, you know, the resources and infrastructure that we believe need to be in place for players to thrive and succeed. So it's always a good thing, you know, when we see this type of development, especially for the women's game and in the United States specifically. So I know we're all on board for it and saying, yeah, let's see what you got. We're here to embrace it. But I think there's that cautious optimism to see and make sure that they kind of retain their foundation and build and grow from that. Because like I started off this segment saying, that in their own press release a year ago, they wanted to have an inaugural season with 10 to 12 teams. They're with 8. So we need to take a look and see how things are going to withstand here. And who knows? Again, like I said, never say never. I know there's a loud contingent of wanting to have pro rel within the United States, but I don't know. If we haven't seen it on the men's side, I don't know if we're much closer on it from the women's side.
Okay, Sandra. Coming with a good approach, step by step, unlike I'm like, in 20 years, what are we thinking? Thank you so much for your time, Sandra.
Appreciate it. Have a good show, y'all.